Hey guys, what is going on? So a few weeks ago, I did attend the ISSN International Society of Sports Nutrition Conference. Today I am in St. Petersburg, Florida at the ISSN Sports Nutrition and Academic Conference. This is day one, so I'm gonna head in and I'm going to meet my mentor, Bill Campbell, as well as some other graduate students in there. And I can't wait to give you guys a recap on everything I learned today and deliver that back to Physique by Science. With Bill Campbell, Dr. Lane Norton, Holly Baxter, James Longstrom, and we presented our case study. Let's get to it, right? So the case study, I'm gonna give you a breakdown of what even was this, why did we do it, and what does this mean for you? So to give you an idea of what a case study is analyzing one person. Within literature, there is systematic reviews, narrative reviews, but basically a case study is one person. And this is really special within the physique space because there really is only 4 different case studies on female physique athletes. And there's only one study that has investigated a female physique athlete. I believe it was around 20 weeks. This investigation was 8 months long and it was a prolonged contest prep. If you guys want a total breakdown of the 3 different variables, training, caloric intake, and energy expenditure, hop over to my next video that will be coming out. That'll be the next one. It's going to be absolutely amazing, so don't miss out, because if you're in prep, this could really, really help you, or if you're thinking about doing a bodybuilding show. I kind of wish I knew all of these things before diving right in, right? So the purpose of this study was to investigate what happens to an athlete's metabolism and body composition over the phase of a contest prep. As we increase energy expenditure, we decrease calories over time. Basically, to give you a little bit of a breakdown, ideally what happens to somebody's resting metabolic rate as they jump into a diet is it goes down. It doesn't mean it's damaged. It just decreases over time. What I want to make you aware of, resting metabolic rate, all that means is just short term for how efficient is your body processing things, right? And over time, as we go through a contest prep, maybe we're decreasing calories. Maybe we're going through a refeed phase. Maybe we're going through a diet break phase, right? But that's all for a reason and for a different video as well. But ideally, just over the course of a contest prep, to make it very simple, energy expenditure will go up, caloric intake should go down sometimes. Maybe it depends on you, your metabolism, where you're at with that. But that's also why you hire a coach who understands these things. The purpose of this was to investigate how body composition, how resting metabolic rate changed over 8 months. And what makes this really special is the female physique athlete did 2 bodybuilding shows. 1 contest prep, maybe an 8-week break, and then another contest prep. The goal of the prep overall is to preserve your metabolism and keep your muscle over the course of this body fat shedding time. So this is an abstract, right? I just want to make you aware that an abstract is basically like the overview section of a textbook. It's like, so here's a little bit, but there's a lot more spice to the story and a lot more shazam when we open up our wings and present the actual paper. So 2 variables, resting metabolic rate, body composition here, guys. That's all we're talking about. Metabolism, and then also, can you keep your muscle over a period of caloric restriction or prolonged dieting, or just going into a phase where you want to lose the body fat. I also want to note that the resting metabolic rate was analyzed on a parvo metabolic cart. I spent a lot of my time during my first year of my master's degree priming the machine, going through the process, doing all this fancy stuff, right? But the process is what really helped me understand the meaning behind how magical it is to get this much data on one athlete who shows up on time, who actually, you know, commits to showing up for this testing. There's a lot of work behind the scenes that you guys don't see, and there's more that meets the eye than just the data that I'm going to explain to you. So I want you guys to appreciate that this is a process like anything else, building a business, building your body, building your mind. Any goal that you've ever created, it takes time, and this is the same thing, and this is why it's so magical for us to share these results with you. So what would I predict that we would find? So I would predict over a prolonged period of dieting, maybe you're increasing your energy expenditure, maybe you're decreasing your caloric intake over time, whatever it is, you need to be in a negative energy balance over a extended period of time, and you can do this through caloric restriction and movement. To be honest, I would prefer eating more and moving a little bit more, but that's just me. It's not magical. This isn't magical. It's just some thought and also analysis of the big picture, right? So we found that over the course of the first contest prep, and I'm going to pull up the graphic of that chart here, you will see the female physique athlete's resting metabolic rate went down over a period of time. Her resting metabolic rate went down from 1725 to 1376 over a prolonged period of time up to contest prep 1, and all of this data was taken 1 week after the first competition. 1 week prior to competing. So maybe the athlete competed, had a lot of food, you know, maybe she did. That's just kind of some of the realities that could happen to affect resting metabolic rate outside of the lab, right? So to be honest, a lot of the literature does support that when you diet, your metabolism will decrease, and that's completely fine and completely expected and normal. Basically what occurred is after contest 1, her resting metabolic rate went up a little bit. To be honest, my prediction from experience and then just coaching, usually that larger refeed, post-show meal, maybe the athlete binge ate, maybe they didn't binge eat, but basically you're going to go through the peaking process followed by the increased celebratory meal. It's supposed to be a celebratory meal, not a celebratory week, or else you will reap the consequences of body fat overshooting, which could be a topic for another video, but it's a meal. It's gonna increase metabolism, right? And that's what the data supports. So prior to contest 1, we see that metabolism increased. Basically, I find just going through the process myself, that honestly getting the fats off and getting the body to cooperate with getting that off. Once you make it to that first show, you peak, you made it, the work's been done, the fat's been removed, and usually going from show 1 to show 2 should be a lot easier. It's easier, but it's really not, because when you go from show 1 to show 2, and here it was 8 weeks, right? Now you're like, that goal must matter to you because you're at such a low body fat percentage that it's like, you're starving, right? You're food focused, you're lean, and that's normal. That's your physiology. That's your body saying, hey, like, I'm not comfortable right now at this body fat percentage. And that's why when you come to me and you say, my goal is to look like a physique athlete, I want you to know why it's not ideal for health, quality of life, and your desire to eat will be so much that eventually it'll break. But that's why you have a coach to take you through a reverse dieting protocol, so you don't gain back a bunch of body fat like I had to over the course of 3 years of dieting and trying to keep it off. I never really took the time to increase my metabolism. I never took the time to build up the metabolism, and that's what I want you guys to understand before going into this contest prep phase. So from contest prep 1 to contest prep 2, we saw her resting metabolic rate increase, and it was due to those variables that I mentioned that could have happened outside of the lab, right? We don't know what happens outside of that lab, but when they come back, we sure do know the results that we see, and we can take those into, you know, practical application. Like, well, what was going on in that person's life? What really happened? And I really want you guys to gain awareness on, this is all science, right? Science isn't an absolute, it's a direction, and then it's up to us to really analyze that data, analyze what that means not only for this person here in this physique study, but also like for you if you're dieting, if you're not dieting, if you're trying to gain muscle, lose fat, all of those things. it really matters. You know, all of this stuff is science, right guys? There is a science, there is a myth to the madness, and that's amazing. So in terms of her body composition, all that means is the amount of body fat to muscle that you have, on layman's terms. So in the literature, you'll see fat mass, and then you'll also see fat-free mass. What fat-free mass means is it includes your muscle, but it's your total body water as well. Basically what removing that wet component means, and why we call it dry, is because basically your body is composed of mostly water, right? And so isn't your muscle. Your muscle is composed of glycogen, which is also called intramuscular IMTGs, right? That's fat, glycogen. Your muscle is composed of glycogen, actually some fat, some water, as well as your muscle, right? So when we look at fat-free mass, we see fat-free mass for all of those things, and that includes your muscle. So dry just removes all those variables and says, hey, how likely is it that I did gain the muscle, right? Or lose any muscle when dieting. When we look at this from an abstract perspective, cool, this represents the data at, you know, the book cover, the overview section of the textbook, but the real, the grit of that textbook will be posted, will be analyzed and explained within the actual publication of our case study. So what did we find? The physique athlete, over the course of her back-to-back peaking, she was successful at losing fat mass and losing a little bit of fat-free mass, but honestly, fat-free mass includes water, remember? So we do have to take that into account. And just because the athlete did lose a little bit of fat-free mass, that doesn't directly correlate to losing muscle, remember? Because fat-free mass does include all those other components that I described. When you see this lean, confident physique athlete walking out on stage who eats 3,000 calories, guys, she didn't just start dieting, right? Did she? No. Usually, physique athletes, I see the muscle maturity come out around 25 to 26 years old as a natural. And usually, if you're enhanced, what does that really do? We all have this thing called our genetic limit, right? And all that means is you can only gain so much muscle to a set point, right? And what does being enhanced really means? It means you can go over that genetic window, but what happens when you stop taking those drugs, right? We always will go back to our genetic set point. So bodybuilding with drugs is for competing, but it will go back to that genetic set point. All drugs do is take you to that set point faster, right? And a lot of people get caught up with that, and they don't understand the science, and they hurt their bodies because they don't understand the why. They don't understand why they're taking this. And that's what I challenge you to do. Whatever you're doing out there, right? We can look at this as a scientist, and I can proudly say that this is my very first publication. And I say that with pride and excitement because I'm here explaining to you what it means to help you, right? Like, that's my motto, right? Like, here's the evidence, but what does it mean for you, right? We can take science and analyze that data, and we can present it either as absolutes, or we can step back and look at it as, hey guys, what does that mean for us, for you, this community, the bodybuilding community, just the people wanting to get in shape, maybe even just showing up for your wedding, right? That's important, right? That's important, and your metabolism matters. And losing body fat without losing all that hard-earned muscle, that matters. You matter. So let's step into the why, analyze the why, have a reason for why we're doing anything, but love it. Embrace it and be confident because you know exactly why you're doing anything in life, in a contest prep. You are protected, you trust your coach, and if you don't trust yourself with the fate of your metabolic rate, I totally suggest applying for Physique by Science. And that is absolutely why I have dedicated my career to this. Education, application, physique enhancement, losing weight, keeping it off, all of it, I'm confident, 99.99% sure that I can change your life, your mind, your body, if you believe in yourself, and you can stand in front of the mirror with confidence, look back, look at the bigger picture and say, hell yeah, I'm me, because that's all you can do. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this video, and I hope I reached some of you with some common sense, with some evidence, with some application, all of it, because that's special. This is special. I want you to realize how special this is, because I do. I love this, and I can't wait for you guys to read the actual breakdown of the paper when we put that together, because there's so many interesting variables. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I look forward to broadcasting my next video, and that is going to be on those 3 things that I talked about during the contest prep. What should training volume look like? What should your resting metabolic rate look like? And what does your caloric intake need to be, should be, if there is a right way? There isn't, I promise. You need to watch the video and find out. Okay guys, I'll talk to you next time. Subscribe, share this with a friend. Just trying to put out reliable information that you can trust, backed by science. Is, you know, I'm a product of everything I say, right? What does that mean for you? Subscribe, share, comment, share your story, share your why. Did you lose the body fat? Could you never keep it off? There's a reason why, and you just need to ask yourself why. And if you can't take the time to understand for yourself, if you don't have the time, hire a coach, but ask why, learn, and then fly. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon, and I hope you have a wonderful time following the rest of my videos. Okay, guys, talk to you soon. Bye.